kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From Las Vegas, Nevada, the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series is ready to duel in the desert right here in Clark County. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series is steaming their way here into the Nellis Straightaway and the Nellis Air Force Base and everything there is here in Sin City. I'm excited about the racing. You should be too, right here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, I am excited to tune in tonight as qualifying is now underway already. Michael Dank's going to be sitting atop the pile so far. His fast lap tonight, 30.3. So 30.30 for Michael Danks. Mason Hoffner, he's up here at a 30.41. A lot of these drivers tonight are just getting themselves warmed up and slid in here. And I'll tell you what, we're 3 weeks into the season. We weren't with you last week as scheduling just didn't. There was no way that the schedule was going to allow me to be here for that. But here we are this week, and I could not be more excited to watch these drivers get cranked up. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He's already in 7th position. He was one of the fastest drivers during practice, so we may start to see a little bit of a change out of old John Wilco from McAdoo. We'll see if he's going to cool this down. The Fort Wilderness Chevrolet Silverado, the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, here in the number 75, finishes his qualifying effort in 6th position. Jeremy Paris up here leading the way so far this evening as he's going to sit atop the pole position. We're going to get a chance to peek at our, let's see here, at our season standings, as I can't get that graphic to work. Of course, we're in the middle of an iRacing update. Everything moving big right now on iRacing. Of course, the huge update, more than 10 gigabytes of information downloaded into all of your machines if you're an iRacing member. As we pull up, tonight's point standings, you'll have to bear with me here as I can't seem to, there it is. I'm going to have to close some windows in the house. I can still hear the neighbors yelling next door. Tane Hodison, our points leader, he's got no wins this season right now. Jacob Fifield has a win from last week. As we're going to pull up last week's race results, Jeremy Paris brought home the win at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Tane Hodison finished 2nd, and Mitchell Davies joined them on the podium. Now, looking at the standings, Tane Hodison leads the way right now in the standings. Joe Stafford out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he's got a top 10 on the season, 74 points. He's followed by Mitchell Davies. But Jacob Fifield, he brings home a checkered flag. Jeremy Paris brings home a checkered flag. So Fifield winning at Daytona and Paris at Atlanta, the only 2 drivers with their tickets punched to the 2024 Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series playoffs. And I know that here we are in week 3 and we're already talking playoffs. Playoffs? You're talking playoffs? Yeah, we absolutely are, because every point matters. Every bonus point matters. Every stage matters in this league. As we get ready to rock and roll here, Rich Jett in the double natural goes 24th fastest. Nope, I lie. He goes 5th fastest. That bumps the Xfinity Whisperer Mike Wright into 6th position. Ray Ferreira in 7th. Chris Custer in 4th out of Ohio. And Jacob Schneider right here just finishes up his qualifying effort and captures the pole at a 30.14 from Greenville, South Carolina. "43 drivers have already qualified this evening. Jacob Fifield, basically the last driver to go out here and qualify from Horseheads, New York, is an eNASCAR College Series driver in his number 92 Onondaga Chevrolet Silverado as we get ready to rock and roll. Of course, I see one little typo here. We'll get that fixed as fast as we can. There it is. You probably didn't even notice it. As Jacob Fifield crosses the start-finish line, he goes 38th fastest the first time around. We're going to see a lot of these drivers tonight. There's going to be some tight racing here at Las Vegas with just about 4 minutes left in qualifying, and the racing itself is going to be hot and heavy. I mean, just 32 drivers going to make the field, so there's a cut line for sure. As Fifield comes across the start-finish line, he buys some grass for reasons I'm not quite sure of. That negates the lap, so he lays down a 30.38. Can't say that was real good. At least the biting the grass. We're going to get a quick chance here to try to talk to Jacob Schneider if we can find him here. And, of course, why would he be somewhere I could find him easily? Well, no worry. We're going to check in with our in-race reporter, Mr. Matt Metler, my partner on what you guys at home will hear on Sunday Night NASCAR, not this week, but the following, as we also had the chance to work together last night for the first time in what seemed like a coon's age. But here we are, Mr. Matt Metler, ready to be the in-race reporter for the night?
I'm actually going to be your one-time talk to you from the trailer reporter. I did not make it in on speed, so I already put the truck on the hauler.
Oh,
but,
my goodness.
Yeah, I had a broadcast tonight. It got canceled out. So the idea that you're going to show up here last second and not get a lap of practicing and make the field is really asking a lot. I'm just not on the level with these guys, but I enjoy the challenge. But just wasn't in the cards tonight.
I've heard people call you challenged in more than one occasion.
Well, at least I can embrace it.
Well, man, listen, we had a great time last night, and, of course, we're going to peel back the curtain. We talked about it on Sunday, of course. Alan and I did as we interviewed you, and, good news for everybody that tunes in every week for Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action. The band is back together, and I am excited to say that you and I will be the voices of Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action, not this week, but starting the following week and continuing basically until the end of time or iRacing crashes forever.
That's right. The brothers are back in town. And if Monday night, last night, was anything like we're going to experience this upcoming Sunday, I cannot wait. I am chomping at the bit. It's an honor to be back up there with you, buddy. And, a series that I've grown to love with Tony Trapasso, dear friend of ours who I greatly miss. And I have to be honest, it's tough not to think about him, especially being back in the booth with you. But embracing every moment of it, and I look forward to Sunday night and doing what I love, and that's being in the booth with you.
Doing that voodoo that we do so well. In fact, I'm going to do my very best to try to poke into the booth on Sunday night, so we'll see if I can make a special remote guest appearance if all things go well. But listen, sorry for you not making the field tonight. But, as we say in Philadelphia, there's always next week.
There's always next week, that's right. And I knew it was a long shot, especially with how good the talent is here. But I figured I'd make the effort, and if not, try again.
All right, my man. Listen, have a good night, and I will see you next Sunday.
Absolutely, man. Good luck.
That, of course, one of the two voices now in Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action, my broadcast partner, my brother from another mother, Mr. Matt Metler. And I said it last night in the race that he and I were calling, and I'll say it again because I truly believe it. If it comes out of my mouth, it's the truth, it's the gospel. And, Pat Summerall had John Madden. Al Michaels had Chris Collinsworth. And the great one, Joe Buck, has the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman, and Dave Regal has Matt Metler. And I can't tell you how happy that makes me. And right now it looks like the qualifying has been wrapped up and warm-up going to be underway. Jacob Schneider going to sit on your pole position. Derek Heitman going to be on the front row with him. Jeremy Paris starting on the inside of row 2 with Chris Custer on his outside. We're going to see if we can get a hold of Jacob Schneider once again here. Maybe he heard the SOS. As we're going to refresh our trading paints once more. Nothing like trying to be an octopus with only 2 arms. As we look around here and see if we can find Jacob Schneider, we cannot. So, of course, we're going to get a hold of the ever-present Joe Stafford out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Looks like Stafford going to be starting pretty deep in the field tonight, as a matter of fact. And let's see if we can find where he's going to be in the 57. He may not even be in this race. I just happened to see him here in the chat. But you know what? We are going to be able to get a hold of Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor. Hey, Pastor, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, Dave. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm good. Listen, man, I'm glad to have you with us again. As you usually bring a pretty good following from the pew to the YouTube.com live chat. How's that number 75 feeling tonight?
Oh, it's good, man. The Outlier Speed Company has given me a great set, and we practiced this week. So we got a long race here. If we can just stay out of trouble and save tires, I think we'll do fine.
Yeah, tire saving is a big deal here at Las Vegas. I mean, I saw it last night in a Cup Series race that I was calling. Of course, I got to see it on Sunday night in SNN Cup Series action. Tire saving is a big deal, and that suddenly becomes a fuel mileage game. How does that truck feel once you get so low on fuel, that basically the tires are nothing but ice skates?
Well, you can only run from my experience, you can only run the bottom about 20 laps, and you got to move up. That center line really comes in, especially with this many trucks here. It ought to rubber up real good, and that center to high line late run will be the fast line.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck tonight, and listen, maybe you get that 75 here on the podium for a change, huh?
That'd be good, man. I'm going for the win.
Attaboy. All right, Pastor, good luck tonight.
Thank you, Dave.
We'll move him back on up into Ferda Motorsports. Of course, I do see Jacob Schneider finally in the YouTube.com or in the Discord channel. Hey, Jacob, it's Dave. You got me?
I sure do. How's it going?
Man, I was looking for you, and I felt like Ray Charles on the Louvre. I couldn't see you. Here you are finally. You wind up going 30.142 in your qualifying effort. How's that truck feeling tonight?
Oh, it's great. This is the Ryko RTP set from last week, so me and the team spent countless time on this thing, so pretty confident. I know there's a few others in the field, the same story. They're running their RTP setups from last week, so it ought to be a good one.
What's going to be your strategy going into tonight? Are you going to be trying to stay ahead of the mayhem, or maybe dropping back and cooling off for a little while? What's the strategy with that RTP setup?
I think keep it at the front as long as I can. Don't ever give up that track position.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck tonight as you get ready to rock and roll. I know we'll be watching up here in the broadcast booth, so we'll be underway in just a few moments. Good luck.
Thank you.
That the voice of your pole sitter, Mr. Jacob Schneider, and I still don't see Stafford here. There he is. He'll be rolling off 30th tonight with just about 20 seconds left. Let me see if I can get Stafford. Hey, Joe, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yeah, how you doing, Dave?
I'm good, man. Listen, here you are representing the 215 starting in 30th position. What has you so far back in the pack?
I just missed my qualifying lap. I didn't get much practice this week, but just thankful to be in the race. Gonna see if I could chug my way up to the front.
I'm sure we're going to see you one of the big movers of the night. I mean, you usually don't start this far back in the field. That's why it grabbed my attention. So I'm curious to see how you wind up. I know that you are too. So good luck, my friend.
Thank you, Dave.
Absolutely, as we're going to move him back on up into the race chat here. And warm-up session is complete. That means that we're going to be working our way through the opening lineup here. As we look from above and now the front of this race pack, Jacob Schneider going to be your pole sitter here, sitting the inside of the front row. He'll be joined on the front row by Derek Heitman in the number 76 Chevrolet Silverado, while Jeremy Paris going to be the featured driver on the inside of row number 2, joined by Chris Custer. Row 3 is going to feature Ethan Eckert along with Rich Jett in the double natural, that number 77, while Mike Wright and Ray Ferrer are going to be in row number 4. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, joined with Brandon Minto rounding out your top 10 in row number 5, while the Faster Pastor going to be featured in row number 6 alongside Ron Fitting. Everything now shuffled up as row 6 going to consist of Ron Fitting and Nicholas Casey. Claude Furland from north of the border up in Canada going to be starting in 13th position with Mitchell Davies in 14th. Sylvain Jolie and Tane Hodison going to be in row number 8, while row 9 going to feature Noah Hamilton and Alexander Gangler. Ben Garrity and Richard Pruitt in row number 10, with Alex Brinson in the number 19 from Lake Elmo, Minnesota, alongside my good buddy Brian Tarnowski, but from Waukesha, Wisconsin. Michael Astuto and John Crow Sr. going to be in row number 12, while Nicholas Breidenbach and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's very own Joe Stafford in 26. Gabriel Lafreniere from St. Jude in 27th position, starting in row number 14, while Matt Mackin has the 01 starting 28th. Chris Claude and Jamie Beasley going to be in row 15, while Jacob Fifield and Randall Watkins start shotgun in the field. As Randall Watkins, my brother from another mother out of Miami, Wisconsin, it is a special day for Randall Watkins down there in Miami because it's 305 day. So we'll get a chance to talk to Randall, I'm sure, as we're going to have quite a race tonight. 134 laps, the scheduled distance tonight. Stage 1 going to end at lap number 30. Stage 2 at lap 60. The iRacing.com pace car peels down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab a bag of chips and let's roll the dice. Race fans, it's showtime! As the green flag waves, Jacob Schneider getting a jump over top of Jeremy Paris and Derek Heitman. Paris looking to get himself separated from him, all but throwing the block right in front of Paris. He's squeezing Paris down along the line. He doesn't have any more room to go, and that allows Jeremy Paris to make the pass for the lead. The 12 truck right now looking to the inside. That should be, well, it's not. Oh, that's a good one. Let's just make sure we throw Dave for a loop here earlier in this race. The 12 truck is actually Ethan Eckert, who's being scored as the 40, and the 02 of Jacob Schneider alongside him working the high side. These 4 trucks battling it out for the lead already. 2 Chevrolets and 2 Fords, and it looks like Eckert in the 12 is going to be bumping Jeremy Paris as he is all over the rear tailgate of that F-150. The 98 of Mike Wright just kind of out here lurking, and I'll tell you what, folks, he is one of these drivers that, you know, he will watch these guys and wait for somebody to make a mistake. That's something that is an absolute key characteristic in almost every driver on the iRacing.com service. You have to remember, you know, many of these drivers are amateurs to some degree, but Mike Wright, a consummate professional behind the wheel, we can see that he's not going to come off of that line. He's going to keep it pasted right here on the bottom, as he's, you know, as we heard earlier, you know, that bottom line is good for about 20 laps, and then you've got to start moving up. So obviously right now he's going to be, you know, capitalizing on the ability to ride the bottom for as long as he can, as Chris Custer now is starting to be just behind him in the 66. He's followed by Ray Ferreira and the faster pastor Stoney Benfield, and I'm checking our youtube.com live chat. Kip Cook already in here. Let's go faster pastor, as he's always got, he gets him from the pew into the bleachers here, as the Allen Experience telling us to have a great show. As always, my friend, I do, because it's what I do. Cash Videos, that's Alexander Gangler. He's here, 3rd race in the series. Static Speed Shop cheering on Ron Fitting and Chris Custer. Top 5 crown jewel events in asphalt racing. Let me think about it, because I'm kind of busy. As Ray Ferreira in the number 6, he's working just over top of Brandon Minto in the 12. And it looks like Brandon Minto in a different paint scheme tonight, as I'm used to seeing him in a Miller Lite paint scheme. In his Xfinity Series car, looks like he'd rather be dripping with delicious cheddar cheese. Now, the interesting thing is we call this Kraft macaroni and cheese. In Canada, where of course we have a couple of drivers tonight, Sylvain Joly, you know, is one of them. In Canada, Gabriel Lafreniere and Sylvain Joly would actually call that Kraft dinner. They wouldn't call that Kraft macaroni and cheese. And I'm not trying to upset the Canadians. I realize it's being in Canada is kind of like being in a loft apartment above a really great party. You know, keep it down there, eh? But you know, they put the ketchup on the macaroni and cheese, and that's just wrong, is what it is. Speaking of wrong, right now trying to do it right is Ethan Eckert working underneath Jeremy Paris. Whoa! He gets loose underneath Jeremy Paris. He manages to keep it together. Talk about playing with fire as Jeremy Paris now being challenged by the 0-2 of Jacob Schneider. That forces Ethan Eckert to slide back here up against the front nose of Chris Custer. The 98 of Mike Wright still out here, logging laps, saving tires, doing everything right. When I say that Mike Wright does it right, that's not just his last name, that's a way of life for Mike. The whole field is bunched up right now. Sylvain Joly working just underneath Brandon Minto. We see Joly in the Axon LED Toyota Tundra. There are definitely a lot more Toyotas mixed into the Truck Series than we have in the Xfinity or the Cup Series in this family of racing series. Right now, Sylvain Joly just behind Mitchell Davies in the RFK number 20 F-150. And we can see him now backing off of Mitchell, so maybe trying to give some room here, but still battling it out with Brandon Minto as Ray Ferreira. As Minto, basically, he doesn't look too uncomfortable in the truck, but, you know, all of a sudden, Ferreira drifting up the track a little uncontrollably as he is just in front of Ron Fitting in the number 3 Chevrolet Silverado from Grease Monkey. As we're starting to see some of the field start to split out and spread out, but Derek Heitman is still fender to fender now with the 66 of Chris Custer. Chris Custer getting a little bit of a push here from Ethan Eckert just below. And, whoa, they go 3 wide. They managed to keep it together. Here goes the 05. Watch it, watch it. Oh, this Code Brown moment brought to you by the 05 of Jeremy Paris. Let's take a run back and take a peek at this. Here in slow-mo from our chopper cam, we can see the 02 getting loose, and in order to save the truck and the race, as we're still under green here on lap number 12, Jeremy Paris basically has to drift back through the field, and right now he is nestled all the way back here into 17th position. He went from being in the top 4 to 17th. That puts Ohio's Chris Custer atop the pile. Chris usually has somebody here in the YouTube.com live chat hooting and hollering for him. Barbara Pinion, welcome back to the YouTube.com live chat. I'm glad to have you and Kip with us tonight. As right now, all of you in the YouTube.com live chat, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so that you can be notified every time we go live here calling the SNN Truck Series. Calling the SNN Truck Series is a blessing for many of us, and for Stoney Benfield, he has a huge following. And we're excited to have him with us as he's going to get up here and get ready to do-see-do with the 76 of Derek Heitman. We're going to take a look right here from the nose of the Faster Pastor. And we can see he's now kind of in that Mike Wright position that Mike was a little bit ago. Albemarle, North Carolina's very own Stoney Benfield just kind of hanging out. He's just alongside of Mitchell Davies on the high side. Mitchell Davies maybe wants to get involved in this, but at this point, Stoney is here just kind of taking his laps, taking care of that truck, making sure that everything's okay. You know, you don't want to get too aggressive too early, as we are already halfway through stage number 1. Nothing but green flag racing here. I don't want to jinx that, so I'm going to knock on wood, that's for sure. As the Gorilla Gas setup shop, number 6 of Ray Ferreira makes it past Stoney Benfield here on lap number 16. Glad to have all of you with us tonight, as right now the way that it goes, it's Schneider, Custer, Heitman, Eckert, and Ferreira, your top 5. Stoney Benfield looking from the outside in. Of course, once we conclude the end of lap number 30, that'll be the end of stage number 1. Drivers will be awarded bonus points if they're in the top 10. Ethan Eckert shoving the truck right here underneath the 76 of Derek Heitman. Heitman now trying to keep himself just ahead, and it almost looks like Chris Custer threw a block right in front of Eckert. Not sure if there's some kind of bad blood or if he's just trying to drive defensively. And there's the broadcaster's curse, as something has happened, and unfortunately it may have been from Mr. 305 Randall Watkins here, as we'll see what it is. Oh. Randall Watkins just in front of the 01 of Matt Mackin just takes it to a whole nother level. We're going to see if we can get that nose cam, that's for sure. Here's Randall coming into 1 and 2. Oh, maybe the 01 hooked him. Let's take a look from the 01's nose. Here it comes, and it looks like maybe Randall drifted up. Oh, it could just be a racing deal, but Matt Mackin definitely taking a beating on that one. Guess we'll have to wait for race control to make a determination there. That one's a tough one, almost too tough to call. So 18 laps in now, just past the halfway point of stage 1, and we may have some wholesale pit stops as, you know, many of these drivers, you're going to see a ton of tires. I mean, 5 total sets, you know, laying 4. So maybe you're going to try to keep those tires on there, maybe get a splash of fuel. You know, but at this point in the race, it would probably be foolish to come down and burn a set early. $19 laps in the books tonight as Jacob Schneider, your race leader, followed by Derek Heitman, Chris Custer, Ray Ferreira, and Ethan Eckert. Here are your top 5, taking a look a little bit deeper in the field. Gregory Valdi, thanks G-Force, this is not the time. Gregory Valad here in the 34, right now running where he started in 12th position. Biggest mover of the night so far, John Crow Sr. in the number 95. We're going to see if we can get a hold of John. Well, it seems like I and the rest of this league are going to be having a discussion with being in the Discord, because if I can't find you, I can't enter you. There you are. Hey, John, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yeah, how's it going, man?
I'm all right, man. Listen, you're the biggest mover of the night so far. How has traffic been?
Traffic's been crazy, man. The dirty air has just really slowed my truck down. So I decided to stop advancing and just kind of take advantage of just sitting there and just see what happens.
I'm not sure if that's the car or a child screaming there in the background, but I can tell you this much. You've got this thing cranked up to crazy. As you know, you're already up 12 positions. Now, what's going to be the strategy going further here into stage 1? Are we going to just try to finish as strong as we can, or are we going for the top 10?
We're just going to try to finish as strong as we can right now. There's too many trucks out there making too many moves, and with all this dirty air, it's kind of hard to maneuver.
All right, my man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Congratulations on being the biggest mover so far, and maybe we'll see you on the other side here at the end of one of these stages.
Yeah, thank you. And that noise you heard was my nitrous oxide in the background.
My man, pots and pans. All right, brother. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
You know, folks, it's one thing when you interview a real race car driver, and of course, all you can hear is the humming of the engine in the background. But you got to remember, a lot of these drivers have families and lives that don't revolve around racing. So, you know, sometimes you might hear that little nitrous oxide blowing off in the background, behind some of these drivers. As we're going to be 2 by 2 on our way back to the ARC. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out this time. Jacob Schneider leading us down the backstretch. And all of these drivers, all season long are going to be, together. A lot of these guys, are not full-time drivers. And, the truck season is a little bit choppy. We race a few weeks, we're off a couple of weeks. The truck season to me has always been probably the most convoluted thing in all of motorsports, even as I take a look at our schedule coming up this year. Next Tuesday, of course, is an off week. Then we go to Bristol and Circuit of the Americas, then another off week, 2 more weeks on, 2 more weeks off. But right now, what is off is the iRacing.com pace car has dove down pit road. Jacob Schneider enters the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and we're back underway. 9 laps to go here in stage 1 as Jacob Schneider gets the jump over Derek Heitman. Ray Ferreira and Chris Custer ready to exchange blows. Stoney Benfield hanging just behind Custer and Ferreira. At this point, he's just kind of hanging out to see what he can do here as he's going to try to squeeze right here on the left rear quarter panel of that truck bed. He's going to hold himself right there in his F-150. He's got that outlier setup. And I'll tell you what, Stoney Benfield, if he can get a good push here from Sylvain Joly, he can absolutely start making some hay here in this race. Of course, it's all about, sometimes, especially here in Las Vegas, it's a lot about luck. You get yourself set up early, you think that everything's fine, your luck changes, and all of a sudden, as we saw earlier, you go from 4th to 17th. Mike Wright running back in 9th position now, which is kind of deep for him, all things considered, while John Crow Sr. here in the 95 goes 3 wide with Jeremy Paris, the meat in that 3 wide sandwich. That's one thing that you don't want to hear from your spotter. 3 wide, you're the meat. Jeremy Paris on his recovery drive, of course, that's who we were talking about, having dropped back all the way to 17th. Right now, running in 21st after starting on the inside of row number 2. He's now climbing his way past Nicholas Breidenbach. He puts the 39 of Michael Astuto in the crosshairs. And we are racing here on lap number 25 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You're watching the Tuesday Night NASCAR SNN Truck Series live here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I'm glad to have all of you with us tonight. Of course, it's a special night as I'm coming off having my partner, my brother from another mother, Mr. Matt Metler, coming back into the fold here. I cannot tell you, folks, how excited I am that not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, Matt Metler and I will be together again, just like Fozzie Bear and Kermit the Frog. And, we'll be right back in the SNN broadcast booth on a Sunday night together. And when I tell you, folks, that it's entertaining, it's entertaining. So for those of you that haven't heard Matt Metler, you will, and you will get an earful as we take a look at Joe Stafford here in the 57 out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's being pushed around by Michael Astuto. He's still trying to get back up here to where Jeremy Paris now runs in 17th, and Jeremy Paris now trying to cut through the field like a hot knife through butter on lap number 27. It's kind of exciting just watching Jeremy Paris work right now as he is a Rembrandt with a brush moving through this field as if he's doing this almost on memory, how to get back to the front, like he left a trail of breadcrumbs through the field, as he now puts the 84 of Noah Hamilton in the crosshairs as he just got around the 93 of Tane Hodison. So now Jeremy Paris getting past the Razor Toyota Tundra, working his way toward our neighbor from the north, Claude Furland. And around we go as, my goodness, it almost looks like a ballet here as Ray Ferreira got himself turned the wrong direction. Looks like right now he's the only one that's registering on our timing and scoring. Let's take a look. We're going to watch Ray Ferreira. Oh, and around he goes. That's not what you want to see, that's for sure. We're going to go down here to the blimp and take another look at this. Ferreira, just getting a little peck on the cheek from Jeremy Paris as Paris dumps him by accident. I can't say that was intentional. Maybe Paris overdrove that just a little bit. We're going to take a run back here and see this from Paris's perspective. Now we're going to see Paris getting right to the inside there of Ferreira. And it's a peck on the cheek, but it's a kiss of death here on lap number 29. That should end the stage. It does, as Jacob Schneider going to be our stage one winner, followed by Chris Custer, Derek Heitman, Ethan Eckert, Sylvain Jolie, Stoney Benfield, Mike Wright, Mitchell Davies, and Jeremy Paris, your top 10. As it is going to be wholesale pit stops for everyone except for Noah Hamilton and Tane Hodison. For reasons I'm not quite sure if they have decided to stay out tonight. Not that I blame them, but it's not really going to help your cause when you've got a pack of angry Hornets with fresh tires behind you. Of course, we talk about the end of stage one. We're going to go to lap number 60 next. And here's the thing. The winner of stage one, of course, in this case, is going to be Jeremy Paris. He gets awarded 10 bonus points. Then it goes 9 bonus points to Schneider, 8 to Eckert, 7 to Heitman, and so on, until you get down to that 10th place finisher in the stage who gets 1 bonus point. And believe me, those bonus points can save your butt, you know, especially if, let's just say that you're having a really great night. You've finished well within the top 10. Maybe you've got, 8 points per stage, so that's 16 bonus points. But then you get taken out in stage 3 toward the end of the race. Now all of a sudden, maybe you only scored, 10 points. That 10 points suddenly becomes 26 with those bonus points. So, all of a sudden you go from having a really crappy night to a pretty mediocre night, and it keeps you in that contention for the point standings here. Something we didn't get a chance to do earlier is to check our race conditions here. 68 degrees if you're in the bleachers here just off Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. Then the asphalt, 70 degrees, so all kinds of grip in that blacktop that is around this 1.5-mile speedway. Of course, this place, we're going to take a look here from just above the raceway. You can see here in the middle of the raceway that, of course, the garage area, one big diamond. And the raceway itself was originally a drag strip. We can see that down the middle of the raceway right behind the garage area. Off in the distance, and we'll see it if the blimp, manages to move fast enough. I don't know if I can move it fast enough. Here we go. Off in the distance, we can see the bull ring out here, as well as, of course, 400 parking spaces. And, of course, we also have the extreme short track right here on the front stretch. This raceway is, configurable in a number of different ways. But, of course, the Nellis straightaway on the backstretch, named, of course, after the Nellis Air Force Base that we sit in the shadow of here at Las Vegas. Going to be lap number 34 when we come back, green flag racing, so we'll just have a little more than 100 laps to go total in this race. Of course, we'll be working our way toward lap number 60. Stage 2 always a little bit shorter, and stage 3 a little bit shorter than that initial stage. But, of course, we're going to be working our way toward lap number 60, so we'll be at about 26 to go in stage number 2 when that green flag flies. here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and the Victoria's Voice Foundation 200 presented by Westgate Resorts. Glad to have everybody in with us tonight in the YouTube.com live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for tonight, as it looks like Sean Kelly cheering on Grease Monkey Motorsports, saying get after it, Ron Fitting and Chris Custer. So Sean Kelly supporting those teammates and friends here in the SNN YouTube live chat. The iRacing.com pace car drops down pit road. We enter the Geico restart zone. Jeremy Paris hits the loud pedal, and we are green flag racing once again. Jeremy Paris leading Jacob Schneider, who all of a sudden just came up to his bumper, took the run, and rather than check up behind him, uses that momentum to slide right in front. He's going to be towed. He's going to be towing Ethan Eckert here in the 12, as Ethan Eckert now is on the low side. The interesting thing here that I'm going to watch, though, is whether or not Ethan Eckert decides that he wants that lead more than he wants to keep the truck clean. As Jeremy Paris works the high side, he's back up into third position. The 76 of Derek Heitman and the 66 of Chris Custer just behind Jeremy Paris. And they're waiting for somebody to make a mistake. Now Paris gets himself in line. There's a bobble out of Ethan Eckert. Eckert goes around. Oh my. And it is pandemonium. There are going to be a lot of angry drivers after this one. Got to go back here and try to find where this began. Eckert here, all by his lonesome, just gets himself loosened, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite, and then he just collects everybody. And Matt Mackin just ate the rear bumper of Ethan Eckert here in the number 12. We're going to see if we can pull that up one more time, maybe from the drone cam here. We can see Eckert not being touched by anybody, as maybe the 05 took some air off that rear spoiler, but it didn't do anybody any good, that's for sure, here in turn number 4. We'll see if we might be able to get that on the turn exit here. Here they come. And it is just all-out pandemonium as the smoke is still settling over the racetrack here outside of turn number 4. Jacob Schneider, your race leader. He's going to sit behind the iRacing.com pace truck. Derek Heitman and Jeremy Paris in tow with Chris Custer in 4th position. Claude Ferlin now rounds out your top 5, while Nicholas Casey and Stoney Benfield sit 6th and 7th. Brandon Minto, Ron Fitting, and Joe Stafford out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I told you folks earlier, he was starting back in 30th, but he's already gotten into the top 10, and now our biggest mover in the race in 10th position, up 20 from where he had started. Chris Claude, chief cook and bottle washer in the SNN Cup Series, and all things SNN realistically, running in 15th position, up 18 from where he had started. And our second biggest mover of the night, Gabriel Lafreniere out of Saint Jude, he is up 19 positions, running in 13th. So obviously starting shotgun on the field didn't really affect him, or near shotgun on the field, that is. Didn't really affect him, but still plenty of drivers on the lead lap here. Looks like 27 to be sure, as it goes from Jacob Schneider back to Tane Hodison. The iRacing.com pace car going to lead us through here, as we're going to step aside and pay some bills right here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action.
Racing isn't easy, but but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
Coming back in emergency style here as our race leaders just wound up wrecking themselves here on lap number 43. And more pandemonium ensuing as we're going to take a run back and see what happened. The 76 and the 02 were side by side coming out of turn 4 back onto the front stretch. And the 02 just didn't realize that anybody was there. And boom went the proverbial dynamite. We're going to see if we can find this maybe from the perspective of the 76, as the 76 of Derek Heitman obviously involved in this. watch the 0-2 of Jacob Schneider drift up ever so slightly. Oh. And it just doesn't get any better for Derek Heitman as he comes to a merciful rest right here on the front stretch. We'll see if we can maybe check that out from the from the starter cam. Here they come. There it is. My goodness. So that does something even stranger now. Let's take a look at our lineup as it runs right now, as we're about 15 laps away from the end, 16 laps away from the end of stage number 2 here. Jeremy Paris, Nicholas Casey, and Claude Ferlin, your top 3. They're joined by Stoney Benfield, Chris Custer, Brandon Minto, Gregory Vallade, Gabriel Lafreniere, Chris Claude, and Michael Danks. These are names that we don't often talk about here, at this stage in a race. But right now, the way that things have gone for several of these drivers, right now, these are the ones that you're going to have to beat coming into the final segment here of stage number 2, as Jeremy Parrish from Flowery Branch, Georgia, going to be behind the iRacing.com pace car as we get ready to go back green flag racing in about 2 laps here. And, it's very interesting to see what decisions are going to be made. Now, John Wilco came down on 43 to get tires. Looks like it was Wilco, Fitting, Stafford, Princeton, Breidenbach, Mackin, and Jett. Those drivers all come down pit road, so that's about 7-8 drivers now. Now, where things are going to get hairy is where Noah Hamilton is just behind Mike Wright. Now, Mike Wright, very good on old tires, as that's one of his trademarks here in the Truck Series. Of course, also extremely good over in the Xfinity Series. I've watched him pace the field and lap the field with relative ease on 40-lap-old tires. So I don't see him having a problem here, especially at Las Vegas on cool asphalt. So we're going to be watching Jeremy Paris and seeing how he's going to hold off the field, as right now there's some frustrations running through the field as we are just on lap number 46. Officially, it's going to be 15 laps, 14 when we go back green flag racing. As the iRacing.com pace car brings us into 3 and 4 one more time here. Folks, get on your feet and get those arms raised up high as we're about to be green flag racing once again. As the pace car comes out of turn number 4, hits those hash marks and makes the hard left turn down pit road right here. Jeremy Paris going to have control of the field coming onto the front stretch. He enters the Geico restart zone and we are back racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And of course, we talk about Las Vegas, of course, Sin City, the place that you can go gambling, you can, basically blow your kid's college fund in the blink of an eye, but there's so much more to do here in this town. Of course, for me, it's all about going over to the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, just down from Fremont Street, I believe. And, I've always wanted to go there and check out the world-famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. Of course, Count's Customs. You can check out some of the coolest cars I've ever seen on 4 wheels, and some even on 2. Over there is Danny runs Count's Customs. It must be a really cool place to go see. It's also a car museum. you know, you can always go out to Rick's Restorations and check out what he's got going on. There's just, you know, the History Channel just seemed to descend on Las Vegas for a number of years and basically put together some incredible programming. Out to a big lead right now is Jeremy Paris with 0.3 of a second over Nicholas Casey and the rest of the field, as Nicholas Casey side by side with Claude Furland in the 43. And everybody double file with the exception of our race leader, Jeremy Paris here, who's all by his lonesome on lap number 49. 12 to go here in stage number 2, as we should see a nice, clean, but exciting finish as Michael Danks in the Shocker Ice Cream Chevrolet Silverado is chasing down Brandon Minto. I'm starting to be a little bit curious about the Shocker Ice Cream. It looks like he's, you know what, if you know, you know. I'm just going to leave it at that, as Noah Hamilton working just underneath Mike Wright, as Chris Claude is now in 10th position ahead of Mike Wright and Noah Hamilton. He's all by his lonesome here in the middle. All of a sudden, Mike Wright getting a run on Chris, as Chris holds that bottom line fairly steady here on lap number 50. So this time by, it's about to be 10 to go now. As none of these drivers is willing to give up any kind of room. Brandon Minto now working the high side of Chris Custer, trying to steal away that 5th position now, and he is just following the fast. Whoa! There goes the 43 of Claude Furland, and it is just a collection of cars, trucks. Oh, this has been a wild stage 2. See if we can see what happened here from Claude Furland's perspective. We see Furland here in the 43. He just comes down right on top of Chris Custer and collects him. Chris Claude scoots by, but Chris Custer getting the worst of that one. We'll take a look at it from his gearbox now. Here he goes. Oh. Yeah, that's got to be frustrating if you're Chris Custer. Jeremy Paris, still your race leader. He's followed by Nicholas Casey and Stoney Benfield, who has worked his way up into the top 3. Brandon Minto and Gregory Valade in 4th and 5th. Gabriel Lafreniere in 6th. Chris Claude in 7th. Noah Hamilton in 8th. Claude Furland in 9th. And Alex Princeton rounding out your top 10, as we're working lap number 53 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Curious to start to see how much longer we're going to have in stage 1. If we finish stage 2. If we finish stage 2 under green, that'd be exciting. But if the last stage was any indication, we probably won't. It'd be nice, though, if I was wrong, that's for sure. Once again, welcoming everybody into the youtube.com live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for. Let me know what you want to see here on the racetrack. As, you know what, Alan, I'm not sure what my top 5 crown jewel events would be in asphalt racing. Well, yeah, I can. Of course, we have the Daytona 500. That goes without question. Then the Firecracker in Darlington. I think that's the Bojangles now. So any race at Darlington, really. Then, of course, it's Bristol, baby, and we're back on asphalt full-time this year for both races. So a day race and a night race, as it should be. Oof. Now I'm trying to think what the other two would be. Of course, for me personally, it's always, you know, it used to be the Aaron's 499. Now it's the Yellowwood 500 down in Talladega. I love a good super speedway. And you know what? As I'm thinking, I can't really think of a fifth crown jewel. Either one of the Martinsville races? I'm going to say either one of the Martinsville races. Of course, they're all primarily in the southeast. I don't really consider Las Vegas to be a crown jewel event per se. So, yeah, I think I feel pretty safe with that. Double file as we come out of turn number 4. Paris and Casey go. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. He waves it, and we are green flag racing one more time. A little bit of a spin of the tires here toward the rear. 5 laps to go in stage 2 as Jeremy Paris gets the jump over the field. He leads this field into turn numbers 1 and 2. And as he heads for the backstretch, everybody getting a good solid restart this time around. Jeremy Paris being challenged now by Nicholas Casey. Casey here opens the door now for Stoney Benfield to get involved, as Stoney Benfield going to be chasing down Jeremy Paris for the race lead. As we haul it down the backstretch, who's it going to be as Stoney Benfield squeezes his way right here into second position? He now has to get a little bit of help maybe from Brandon Minto in the form of a little push here. And if I want anybody behind me pushing, especially for draft purposes, it's really Brandon Minto. He is such a good teammate. I've watched him push Mike Wright to wins a couple of times, and you know, if I look in the rearview mirror and I see Brandon Minto, I know that he's there, obviously tonight eating his Kraft macaroni and cheese and sipping Miller Lights with his Uncle Scott. As Jeremy Paris rolls out of turn 4, Stoney Benfield going to be really digging in here hard for the race lead as he wants that stage 2 win. He thought he had some help in the form of Brandon Minto, and Minto not able to push him through the tri-oval as we haul it down the backstretch once again. Brandon Minto giving a little bit of a push. You can see the run that Stoney gets going into turn number 3 once Minto gets caught up to his rear bumper. Unfortunately, not enough just yet. As we cross the start-finish line, this is the final lap of stage number 2. Once again, the Faster Pastor diving down here to the low side of the track. He's got Brandon Minto in hot pursuit, but right now the Faster Pastor, Stoney Benfield, just trying to get some of the air off the front of the 12 to push him down the backstretch and into turn 3. Jeremy Paris leads us out of turn number 4. The Faster Pastor in tow, but not close enough. As we come out of 4, getting ready to cross the start-finish line, Jeremy Paris, your stage 2 winner. Jeremy Paris, Stoney Benfield, Gabriel Lafreniere, Nicholas Casey, Brandon Minto, Gregory Vallad, Alex Princeton, Noah Hamilton, Chris Claude, and Steve Herring round out your top 10. They'll all be awarded bonus points. 1 point to Herring, 10 points to Jeremy Paris, 10 points to Gryffindor. While we're at it, we're going to get a chance here to talk to Jeremy. If I can find him. And unfortunately, go figure, no I can't. So we're going to get a chance here instead to talk to the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield. Hey, Pastor, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
I sure do, Dave. How you, bud?
I'm good, man. Listen, I was trying to get a hold of Jeremy Paris, but we're going to settle for you instead. No, I'm just kidding. But, Jeremy Paris not in the Discord, so I'm stopping in here to talk to you. Pastor, how do you find yourself up here in P2?
Man, I just got a great truck, Dave, and just running that bottom line, and we have had some breaks now. Missing those cautions, going down and mowing the grass through the front stretch. So, just one of those races. It's been good.
Yeah, this is one of those races where, I'm used to seeing somebody taking dominant control of the track, and all of a sudden, it just seems like, there is none of that.
Yeah, no, it's not. It will be this next stage when we, once we get spread out and we got this long run. So we'll probably see some of that coming up.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, you roll off in 5th here from your pit time, so good luck the rest of the way. It looks like you've got about 70 laps to go.
Yep, we're going to work with our teammates here to get a strategy to know when to pit under green and go from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, and have a good rest of your race.
Yeah, let me give a shout out to NC811 and Outlier Speed Company. Plus, my main sponsor is Jesus Christ, man.
My man, Pots and Pans. All right, brother, good luck. As we're going to move him back up into the Ferta Motorsports corral. Not able to get a hold of Jeremy Paris, but I always enjoy a good time with the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, driver, the number 75, nc811.org, F-150. And as we get ready to start Stage 3, we're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. Jeremy Paris, your race leader. We will be back after these messages.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
later. Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh,
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the
goodness!
line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we come back early from our commercial break. As we are under caution one more time here. This time it involves the 05 of Jeremy Paris. As my goodness, he comes across the nose of the 06 and spins down here. Now we're going to see this from Gabriel Lafreniere's perspective, as he got definitely a good piece of this. We'll see if we can maybe pull him up here. Here comes Paris as they're following the faster passer Stoney Benfield. And sideways down the front stretch, a barrel roll. That almost makes me nauseous just watching it. I can't imagine what it was like from inside the car. But we can see what it looks like from inside the car as we're going to roll here with the gyro cam of Gabriel Lafreniere. Once again, we see Paris coming down. There he is. He starts it, and it is just absolutely nauseating to watch that, especially from Gabriel Lafreniere's perspective. So obviously we're going to see Lafreniere be fairly frustrated here, as that's going to end his night for sure. One more time we'll see from high above in our blimp cam. Now the 06 is suddenly going to catch the 84, the 86. Brandon Minto squeaks on by, as well as Chris Claude. Oy. There's going to be some hurt feelings tonight in the Discord channel after this race, that's for sure. However, the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, comes into the lead moments before that as we were at commercial. So Stoney Benfield, your new race leader, followed by Brandon Minto, Gregory Valad, Nicholas Breidenbach, Alex Prince, and Alexander Gangler. Ron Fitting, Rich Jett, Matt Mackin, and Mitchell Davies. Chris Claude in 11th position. Nicholas Breidenbach right now the biggest mover of the race, as he is right here in 4th position now, up 25 from where he had begun back in 29th. That's definitely going to put some more drivers on the hauler, as we're going to see what happened with Alex Prinsen. Maybe I can find him in the Discord channel. Hey, Alex, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Hi, I got you, Dave. How are you?
Not bad, but, you know, of course, I wasn't involved in that wreck. Take us through that, and you know, how did this all develop?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened with that wreck. I know I know it's kind of been like a demolition derby so far today. I think I've been caught up in everyone but the last one. But yeah, I find myself in 5th now. I know some guys have fresh tires behind me. Well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we call the right strategy.
Yeah, you definitely did. I mean, you know, Jeremy Paris involved in that. It seems like a lot of the mayhem has broke out here in the front of this pack. I mean, you know, usually that's not something that we see at a place like Las Vegas. As you mentioned, it's kind of like a demolition derby. You know, is there something to that tonight, or do you think this is just a weird little one-off?
I think we're all running the same times, and this track produces really close racing, and we're just pushing it over the edge.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Keep that number 19 right here where it is, because it looks like you and teammate Chris Claude may be finishing both in the top 10 if you don't wind up on the podium yourself.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
All righty, as we're going to move Alex Prinsen back up into the Joe Gibbs Racing channel. Anytime. There's the little button. And, you know, we're double file now, so we won't have time, but at some point we're going to have to chat with Chris Claude, because he has managed to avoid a lot of this mayhem somehow, as Stoney Benfield, the faster passer, going to lead us back to the green flag momentarily as we head down the backstretch. And, you know, as I said to Alex, we don't often see this particular racetrack produce the wrecks that it has tonight, and none of them have been small. I mean, still 20 cars on the lead lap, including Mike Wright, who's running back in 20th position right now. And, you know, usually we get to see some really close racing, but this is something completely different. The iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Stoney Benfield has control of the field. As he enters the Greico restart zone, he is going to drop the hammer fast and furious. And we go back green flag racing. They are double file behind Pastor Benfield. As Stoney and Vlad, as Minto and Vlad going to go side by side. Looks like plenty of drivers suddenly deciding that it's time to go single file. Taking a look, though, here at Mitchell Davies in the 20 machine. He's got that thing just this side of crazy right now, as he's going to slide in just ahead of John Wilco and Ron Fitting. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, hauls it out of turn 4 as he holds it steady, trying to chase down Mitchell Davies like he's a kid that owes him lunch money on the yard outside at recess. Stoney Benfield now being challenged for the race lead by Gregory Vlad. Vlad here in the 21 paint scheme, that Gorilla Gas Toyota Tundra, of course, being scored as the 34. Vlad here trying to see if he can get around Benfield on lap number 84. 50 to go, as time is ticking for a lot of these drivers. You know, some of these drivers haven't been down since lap number 62, so we should start to see green flag pit stops around lap 95. And that may be enough. I know a lot of these drivers are going to try to stretch this to make that final segment of stage 3 a little bit shorter. Side by side now is Gregory Vlad with Stoney Benfield, as this battle for the lead has now broken out into an all-out fight, as Stoney Benfield trying to hold his own here on the high side, being pushed along by Brandon Minto, who now drops just behind Gregory Vallad. It looks like he thought he could get in there in that open door, but the door slammed shut by Alex Brinson, who we just spoke with here on Race Radio. Minto deciding at this point he might as well follow Stoney Benfield and see if he can lead him to the promised land, as he has done with countless souls throughout his career down there in Albemarle, North Carolina. Taking a look at the YouTube.com live chat, I see the Allen Experience calling for the Indy 500 for sure. You know what? Yeah, take out the Talladega race and replace that with the Indy 500. I really forgot that. Of course, I only forgot it because the Indy 500 is not something that I pay too much attention to. As we look back further in the field, Ron Fitting now working just underneath the 89 of Steve Herring, as Herring is challenging Fitting. And in the Alienware Chevrolet Silverado, there are 7 Chevrolets from 6th all the way down through 12th. From Jeremy Paris to Derek Heitman, all Chevrolet Silverados. We can take a look at that right here on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see just the very beginning of that, Paris, Jet, Wilco, and Fitting. So obviously the Chevrolet is very strong. As we go 3 wide here, the 76 now of Derek Heitman trying to split the 89 and the 3. They are 3 wide coming back onto the front stretch. The 76 of Heitman deciding that he just wants to move on up here into 10th position and start accumulating more bonus points. Side by side goes Derek Heitman and Rich Jett now, as Heitman about to challenge Jett here, as Heitman working the high side just behind John Wilco in the 62. Heitman trying to find his way around those 2 drivers. He better not take it 3 wide. We haven't seen that work out too well here, as side by side goes Claude Ferland and the 93 of Tane Hodison. Claude Ferland in the Axon LED Toyota Tundra, now getting around the 93 of Tane Hodison. He's going to put Rich Jett in the crosshairs next, as we move back onto the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line here in the Tri-Oval on lap number 92 of 134. We're approaching 40 to go now, about 43 to go here on lap number 92. Gregory Vallad, your race leader. He's followed by Stoney Benfield and Brandon Minto, your top 3. As Chris Claude has faded back now into 16th position, Matt Mackin alongside of him here in the 01. We'll take a peek at it. And you can see that 01 just in front of Chris Claude, as Claude trying to get himself up here into a position to get around Mackin. Usually we don't see Claude driving too aggressively, but tonight it seems like maybe he wants to take a bite out of crime and move his way up along the 01. Pit strategy going to start playing a factor here, as Vallad, Benfield, and Minto each have 31 laps on their cars right now, while Davies, Paris, and Wilco have 14 laps. So at some point, something's going to have to give in the top 10 here. As we take a look up through the field, we see Jeremy Paris, the 05, all by his lonesome here on the high side. They're still fighting it out. This race has been exciting as far as side-by-side action all night long. None of these drivers really trying to give it up. Alex Brinson also on 31-lap-old tires, while John Wilco moves into 6th position on those 14-lap-old tires, now 15. So, you know, all things considered, we're starting to see those older tires close in as we take a look here at Mitchell Davies and Jeremy Paris here in the battle box. We're starting to see Davies, close in here on Brandon Minto. Jeremy Paris going to start doing the same thing, as Davies and Minto going to be less than 1/10 of a second between them. We can see Paris now over top of the 20. And that's Mitchell Davies. So Paris wants a piece of that action. He slides down just in front of the 26. the 76 of Derek Heitman. So Heitman's still looking for a way to get around Paris. Maybe instead of trying to get around Paris, Heitman could at least stand to try to follow him. Maybe they could be a little bit of a partnership here. And all of a sudden they do is they're able to both take over those spots from Minto and, of course, Mitchell Davies. Jeremy Paris now putting race leader Gregory Valade in the crosshairs. He's moving through the field with relative ease as he has really sliced his way up through the field. We can see Gregory Valade not necessarily getting nervous, but understanding that Paris and Heitman are just two faster trucks that came down for a little bit of extra pit service, if you will, as they have last been down on lap 79, Valade on 62. So older tires suddenly starting to show their age here on lap number 99. We're just about at the century mark here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth live on Sim Racing Media. You can find us right here on YouTube.com. Make sure that you subscribe, turn on those bell notifications, and mash the like button. All things considered, it helps us get more views. It helps your friends and family get more recognition and notoriety on the iRacing.com servers. Of course, iRacing, a huge service and a huge update today as rain has now been added as a factor. Rain is something that, of course, we deal with in real life racing all the time, and now something that we can add a factor into here on the iRacing.com service. So very exciting, especially for those that run the open wheel series and, the cars that are typically on, rain tracks, things like that. So just something really interesting that we get to see now as we look back a little bit deeper. Stoney Benfield running in 5th position, trying to chase down Mitchell Davies, but Davies starting to pull away now as the older tires of Stoney Benfield once again down on lap number 62, trying to chase down Davies, who came down on 79. Gregory Valade a sitting duck as Davies claws his way through the field. And this league is very special here to Sim Racing Media. Of course, the SNN family of racing series, the Cup Series, of course, being a banner sponsor over the last several years, being partnered with Sim Racing Media. The Truck Series came along last year as, sponsorships allowed them to get broadcasted. And then, of course, that sponsorship kind of fell by the wayside. And these drivers have pooled their resources together to get on the air this year. So a tip of the cap to all of these drivers who are contributing to try to get on the air as often as they can. Sans sponsor. So that shows some dedication, especially for as full as these fields have been in this first 3 weeks of the season. Alex Princeton working over top of Steve Herring here in the 89 as Alex Princeton battles him out now for 9th position. He's now gotten back into the top 10. He's still trying to go after John Wilco here in the 8th position. And quite frankly, here on lap number 104, we're going to start to see drivers considering when it's going to be time to come down and pit. The first question that comes to mind, though, is who's going to blink before everyone else? Looks like Matt Mackin comes in, the 12 of Brandon Minto going to come in. So some of these drivers deciding that it may be better to come in early as Brandon Minto and Stoney Benfield going to come in together. So that means that they're going to be working together while Jeremy Paris is going to stay out and log some laps. He was last out on 79, so we may not see him for about another 15 laps, which should put him at lap 121. We're taking a look here at he and Derek Heitman, who each came down on 79 and 80. Gregory Valad, though, in the 21, still staying alive on those older tires. In fact, let's see how long he's been out there for now. 44 laps, and he's still competing at an extremely high level with these two leaders. Stoney Benfield, Brandon Minto, and Ron Fitting all coming down pit road together as they get ready to roll off. Ron Fitting now coming down pit road to get off as he exits that last timing segment there. Matt Mackin coming down on 103. So green flag pit stops are absolutely underway and in effect here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Thank you as always for making us a part of your evening right here. As some of us are working several nights a week here at Sim Racing Media. I know that it's exhausting for many of our guys, including myself and Alan Bergen, who of course works alongside me on a Sunday night here for the Cup Series. So I know for a lot of these guys that I work with at Sim Racing Media, sometimes you get to that last race of your week and you are just out of breath and burned out. As Alex Princeton going to come down pit road, he's not out of breath and he's certainly not burned out. It's just time for some Ford Dr. Feelgoods and a tank of Go Fast. The 21 of Gregory Valad now working his way back past Jeremy Paris. So Valad still able to challenge for the lead as Heitman comes down pit road. He's going to tumble like a rock in the water for the time being. Nicholas Breidenbach doing the same thing in the number 53 Hooters for F-150. But Gregory Valad, your race leader, he has just strolled on past Jeremy Paris in one fell swoop. Looks like Paris, Davies, and Beasley all come down. That leaves Gregory Valad alone atop the pile. Once again, coming down pit road last on lap 62. He's going to be followed by John Wilco, who dives down pit road, as well as does Steve Herring. So at this point, the Ironman of the evening right now, that award going to Gregory Valad here in the number 21. Curious to see when he's going to blink because the cars behind him all came down about lap number 80. Claude Jett and Hodison, well, Claude and Jett came down on 79. Claude Furland came down on 80. Tane Hodison 79, and Alexander Gangler finishes 62. While these drivers work their way here, we're just about 20 to go. We're going to step aside one last time and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
it's late to Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Chris Claude had control of the field for a few laps as he was leading during this pit cycle. Tane Hodison now taking over the lead alongside Rich Jett as Chris Claude going to come down for 4 tires and a tank of fuel here as Tane Hodison leads your race here. There's no way he can make it to the end as those tires gave out on Chris Claude. He made the call on the radio. That will cycle Sylvain Joly. Oh, Chris is going to get trapped down as Gregory Vallade involved in this one. It looks like the 53 just took Gregory Vallade and Jeremy Paris out. My goodness. We're going to see where the 53 might have been, currently is. Almost just clearing the way is the 53. That's Nicholas Breidenbach. We'll take a look at it one more time from his perspective. Here's Breidenbach. Now you're going to watch the 53. He's got Jeremy Paris on his low side. Maybe a little bit of net code from Paris upset the 53, but it looks like he came right down into the 53 and, into the 05 and the 21. So 14 laps to go. That's going to cycle Brandon Minto into the lead as Rich Jett, Tane Hodison, Sylvain Joly, Derek Heitman, and Stoney Benfield all come in for pit. Looks like Chris Claude going to be in 8th position. So a strong night for Chris as Steve Herring winds up in 7th position. So we're going to see where all of this shakes out here with 13 laps to go. Tane Hodison going to be your race leader. He last came down on 121 for fuel. Brandon Minto, Derek Heitman, and Stoney Benfield also coming down. Minto coming down on 105. So he's kind of a sitting duck here in the middle. As another group of drivers going to come down pit road. This is going to be the way that it looks. As they come off, it's going to be Mike Wright, Gregory Vallade, Chris Custer, Michael Astuto, Nicholas Breidenbach, and Michael Danks. As we can see, Mike Wright getting himself here right into his pit box. No questions asked as the right sides go up. drop, left sides are going to go up. So obviously he's going to get some fresh rubber. So there's a lot of drivers that are really good that have that fresh rubber on the truck now. Tane Hodison, Rich Jett, Derek Heitman, Stoney Benfield, Brandon Minto, your top 5. They'll be followed by Sylvain Jolie if he ever gets off of pit road, Steve Herring, Chris Claude, Jeremy Paris, and Mitchell Davies going to be your top 10 when we go back green flag racing. We should have about 10 to go when the green flag flies this time, as drivers are trying to get themselves all kinds of lined up. Some strategy going to have to come into play as we come across the start-finish line. The 93 getting himself lined up behind the iRacing.com pace car. So we're going to take a look here from the nose at the pace car. The lights are out. That means that we'll be going back green flag racing this time by. We're looking here at Brunswick, Maine's very own Tane Hodison. Tane from Maine here coming down the backstretch. We will be 10 to go when the green flag flies this time around. So it's going to be a mad dash to the finish here. And all of a sudden we delay the green flag for reasons I'm not quite sure of. I'm waiting for the call from race control. So race control stopping the pace car from diving down pit road this time. We will stay double file. That's going to allow Randall Watkins to come down pit road, as he has quietly gotten himself up into 26th position after being, reasonably shocked earlier in the race. Now he's up 12 positions, so he comes from 38th into 26th. Tane Hodison being marked as down on pit road, but obviously we can see him here behind the pace car. As now the pace car lights are out. That'll mean 9 laps to go, so crank up the dial just one more notch on the pressure here. Stoney Benfield is in 5th place. I hear them trying to sort things out here with race control. So we should see a green flag fly this time now. The iRacing.com pace car leads us out of turn 4. He heads on down pit road. Tane Hodison with control of the field. Everybody on fresh tires. 9 laps to go, and we're back green flag racing. Tane Hodison over top of Derek Heitman right now as we go into turns 1 and 2. He's going to get a good jump here, but Heitman in hot pursuit in that Team Conti Chevrolet Silverado. He's trying to use the high side here, maybe try to keep those tires a little bit cooler with 9 laps to go. We head out of turn number 4. Tane Hodison still controlling this field. 8 laps to go here at the line, and we aren't done yet. As we look back further in the field, Chris Claude working underneath teammate Alex Princeton as they round out your top 10. Now Claude has to make a decision. Does he try to protect 9th away from his teammate, or does he try to take on Mitchell Davies and Steve Herring? Or option number 3, does Chris decide that he's going to follow Alex Princeton deeper into the field? Rich Jett challenging right now Derek Heitman and being challenged by the faster passer Stoney Benfield, as Benfield here in the 75 gets ready to go hammer and tongs against the double natural of Rich Jett. Rich trying to hold on to that position right now as we have a 4-way battle for the lead here at the line. 6 laps to go. Tane Hodison still being scored as the race leader, but he's being challenged every corner by Derek Heitman, who now takes the lead away from him. As we go down the backstretch, we can see Heitman getting a little arrow push here from the 77. The 77 still being scored in 3rd position as we come out of turn 4 once again. 5 laps to go. They aren't done just yet, as this 4-way battle for the lead is getting hotter and hotter now. They're getting close. They kind of get close. They all back off again. It almost looks literally like a swarm of bees. As they get close to one another, they kind of ebb and flow around one another. Stoney Benfield saying, all bets are off. You can call me pastor all you want. That's on Sunday. Tonight, he is racer. Stoney Benfield, as Tane Hodison leads Derek Heitman back to the start-finish line. They're side by side, nearly touching here with 4 laps to go. All of a sudden, this looks like a finish at Talladega, as these 4 trucks are drafting together. They're acting as one, pulling away from Jeremy Paris, who runs in 5th position. 4 to go down the back chute into turn 3. Tane Hodison still controlling it, but Derek Heitman gets a run here into 3. He's not able to capitalize on it. Stoney Benfield still holding on to P3 as we come out of 4 and back to the start-finish line. These drivers starting to look a little bit nervous here as Stoney Benfield takes it 3 wide. He sees the door open. He's going here into turns 1 and 2. He suddenly, oh, wow. Jeremy Paris comes out of nowhere, gives Stoney Benfield the momentum that he needs to lead this race for just another moment. Now, all of a sudden, another 3-wide situation. Jeremy Paris nearly the meat in that sandwich. He's trying to lock right onto that rear bumper, nearly taking out Stoney Benfield, your new race leader, here with 2 laps to go. The popsicle sticks are in the air. Side by side goes Jeremy Paris and the faster pastor Stoney Benfield, as they are hammer and tongs waiting for each other to make a mistake. Getting a push from the 77 is Jeremy Paris. Jeremy Paris now pushing the 77 down the backstretch and into turn 3. It looks like they're not done yet, as they can see the man in the stand puts the white flag in the air. The popsicle sticks go down, and we're racing back to checkers. That's what this sport is all about, folks. Jeremy Paris, Stoney Benfield, nose to tail coming out of turn 2, down the backstretch one more time. Stoney Benfield getting a push from behind. They're going to wreck behind him. That splits Rich Jett out. That allows the door to stay open for Stoney Benfield. Now to look for a way. He's got to get a push from Tane Hodison, though, to try to get around. The checkered flag starts to wave. Stoney looks to the inside. The door is slammed shut, and it's Jeremy Paris capturing the checkered flag here at Las Vegas. He's going to be joined on the podium by Stoney Benfield and Tane Hodison. What a finish to this race. Rich Jett finishing in 4th, Derek Heitman in 5th, Mitchell Davies in 6th, Alex Princeton in 7th, Claude Ferland, Sylvain Joly, and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, rounding out your top 10. Jeremy Paris bringing it back down to the start-finish line. He makes that little left turn there and gets ready to burn the house down, as he has now captured the checkered flag in fine fashion. Jeremy Paris battling his way through this night, gets the checkered flag for Flowery Branch, Georgia. Just got to get Stoney Benfield down into the waiting room. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Dave. How are you?
Man, I am good. You finally bring it home tonight here for the checkered flag. I mean, you know, all night long I was watching you, and you really battled through this. Take us through this race and how you wind up here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, we had a good truck, made some decent strategy. I thought I was out to dry there without any tires, but those guys got to drafting. I mean, it's just the nature of this racing, Dave. You get that draft, and I mean, I shouldn't have been able to win that race, but we put it together and we did it.
Absolutely. You go back-to-back, of course, the first back-to-back winner of the 2024 season. Now you've got 2 wins under your belt. What does that do, you know, for focusing on the remainder of the season with the off week coming up? You know, and of course, that ticket is all but sealed now for the playoffs.
Yeah, it makes it where we're chasing trophies now, so that makes it fun, Dave.
Yeah, chasing trophies must be nice. I mean, for yours truly, I never got a chance to be able to do that here in this league. So to watch you go back-to-back, you know, at Atlanta and now Las Vegas, it's exciting for me just to watch somebody be able to pull that off. As we go into the off week, what are you going to be doing during the off week? Is it going to be a little bit of practice or maybe just a break from the rig?
We may have a little break from the rig, hang out with the family, and probably do a little practice too.
There it is. That's that little parenthesis. Maybe a little practice too.
Yeah,
well,
maybe
listen,
a little practice.
Congratulations once again. Before I cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank for this run?
I just got to thank my teammates there. Mitchell, he pushed me a lot and gave me a good draft there for a lot of times. So thanks to him, we'll get him up here and get him one.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Bristol Motor Speedway as we're going to go truck racing on the short track. So congrats, and we'll see you then.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Dave.
Thank you, sir. And, of course, up next here on the podium going to be the faster Pastor Stoney Benfield. Hey, Pastor Benfield, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
I sure do, Dave. Yes, sir.
Man, what a great finish to the end of this race. I was really pulling for you, and, of course, you know, you just didn't have that extra push that you needed from behind, but wow, here you are on the podium. How does that feel tonight?
Well, Dave, it's good to finish second place. You know, I should have loosened that thing up just a little bit on that last pit stop. We saved a set of tires, hoping that if a caution would come out, we could do that. And I got under the third place guy, just really forced myself to the bottom, but I just couldn't. Jeremy, I just couldn't do anything with him. He just had a little more than we did. But, hey, man, we're improving each time, so we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And improvement is the name of the game. I mean, I've watched a lot of drivers in this league specifically that go from, you know, there you are, you know, somewhere in and around 21st, 22nd, and all of a sudden you start finishing in 15th. Then you crack your way into the top 10, and here you are on the podium. I mean, you know, how much practice are you putting in during the week in the rig, you know, to try to get yourself, you know, try to hone that craft a little bit more?
Well, I practice a lot. I've probably got 5 or 6 hours this week practicing, and I run the officials, and we work with Outlier Speed Company. You know, they just make us a great set, man, great chassis set, and so you know, I've probably ran 5 or 6 races here this week, so that helps, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be in this league.
All right, my brother. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank tonight for this run?
Well, first and foremost, Dave, I do want to thank Jesus Christ. He's my life. That's what I'm all about, and we want to be a good witness and example to people here. And so I thank him. I thank him that he took the wheel tonight. And then North Carolina 811, of course, is my primary sponsor. And then Outlier Speed Company, Cody Porty and those guys make a great set. And then this team that I've just got with Brandon Minto and Mike Wright and Astudo and those guys. I just joined that last week. They're super guys, and we discuss strategy and stuff on pit stops during the race. So I thank them. And then I can't forget the people that follow me from our church on YouTube every week. And so we got a lot of people to thank. But thank the Lord the most, man.
Absolutely. You know, it's great that you should say Jesus took the wheel for this one. I remember years ago at my church growing up as I was our choir director that one of the signs that, one of the movable letter signs that we had, it said if God is your co-pilot, switch seats. And obviously tonight you were able to do that.
Yeah, he really was the pilot, and so the truck was great, the team was great, set was great, the Lord's great, and I'm thankful to come home second place.
All right, brother, listen, God bless you. Remember that Jesus loves you, and so do I.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you. See you.
And last but certainly not least, here on our podium tonight, Mr. Tane Hodison. Hey, Tane, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, listen, you bring home third place tonight to Brunswick, Maine. I mean, Tane from Maine, take us through this race and, how you wind up here in third.
Look, I had no business being in the top 15. I was not the driver for this race. I didn't really feel that great with the setup either. I was kind of struggling to stay with the top 15 as well. I had a few. I had nowhere to go in one of the wrecks, but luckily it was only front end damage, and I got it cleared with the amount of cautions in stage 2, I believe, and with the final stage caution. And then I decided I wasn't gonna pit when everyone else pit. I was gonna go as long as I could on fuel and hope for a caution, and that's what I got. Which obviously shot me to the front because everyone else had pitted. So, yeah, and then I just saw that as my moment. I just, shot off in the start of the restart zone to catch everybody off guard and try and get a win. It didn't end up that way, but I'm not disappointed. I like third.
Yeah, I mean, third is still much better than 27th, no matter how you try to cut that one apart. I mean, you get through all of that traffic, you dive yourself up here. It was an incredible race from start to finish. I know that obviously crawling up 15 positions to finish where you did was no easy feat. And, obviously cautions came out. They were definitely more prevalent than usual here at Las Vegas. But everybody gets to take a little breather here, gets to cool down before, of course, we're going to wind up heading to Bristol for some short track racing in 2 weeks.
Yep. Bristol will be interesting for sure.
It's Bristol, baby. What can I say? Listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this run tonight?
My teammates. Diego wasn't here tonight, but he's normally runs this. Noah, the team owner, and Ethan, who probably should have been up there for the win tonight, but he, I don't know if he caused the wreck or if he was in it, but he was taken out by a wreck, so. Yeah, there's 3.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations on the podium finish, and we'll see you in 2 weeks because it's Bristol, baby.
Yeah, it'll be fun for sure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Well, folks, another one in the books tonight here in the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series. And, all of these series that we run here with the SNN family, of course, in the upcoming weeks, you're going to see Cup Series, Xfinity, and Trucks all running here on Sim Racing Media. And, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications in our youtube.com live feed, because that's how your friends and family get noticed elsewhere here on the iRacing.com servers. Of course, a lot of you very active in the chat. I wish that we could get some more of you active in the chat, because I'll tell you what, it makes it more exciting to poke our heads over there and see what's going on. And before we get out of here tonight, we want to take one final look at our results. Jeremy Paris captures the checkered flag here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, finishes in second, while Tane Hodison rounds out your podium. Rich Jett and Derek Heitman make up the rest of your top 5, while Mitchell Davies and Alex Princeton finish 6th and 7th. Claude Ferlin brings home 8th position for our neighbor to the north, with his teammate Sylvain Joly in 9th. And John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, rounds out your top 10. Alexander Gangler finishes 11th, while Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, finishes in 12th, with Fairview, Tennessee's very own Chris Claude bringing home 13th place honors. Matt Mackin finishes 14th, while Steve Herring and Jamie T. Beasley bring home 15th and 16th. Gregory Valad finishes in 17th with Ron Fitting in 18th. Moving on here, Mike Wright finishes 19th with Chris Custer out of Ohio in 20th as he rounds out the top 20. Michael Astuto brings home 21st with Michael Danks and Nicholas Casey in 22nd and 23rd. Richard Pruitt in 24th with Nicholas Breidenbach. Randall Watkins, Mr. 305. I didn't get a chance to talk to him tonight, but it is 305 day. Finishes in 26th with Noah Hamilton and Gabriel Lafreniere in 27th and 28th. 29th position goes to Brian Tarnowski. Joe Stafford out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania finishes in 30th with Benjamin Garrity, Jacob Schneider, Ethan Eckert, Ray Ferreira, John Crow Sr., and Jacob Fifield rounding out the field tonight. Garrett Crawford and Jeff Carson, of course, not able to make the field, as well as several other drivers tonight, including Matt Mettler, Nolan Hodgson, Nick Hansen, Michael Peterson, Tyler Sexton, and Mason Hoffer. But nonetheless, they all deserve a tip of the cap, as Las Vegas was a hot place to be tonight here in the desert. And no matter which way you try to slice it, this was an exciting race. I mean, there were cautions a lot more than usual here at Las Vegas, a lot more larger wrecks here in the Truck Series than we generally see. But it still kept that field bunched up and together, so it was an exciting finish here for the race tonight. So for myself, Dave Regal, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and everyone on the SRM team, I want to thank you for making us a part of your evening, joining us on YouTube.com. And I just want to say before I head off for vacation in the upcoming days here, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.